because I have very few friends, but not to be exclusive. It's just that although I like people, but for friends, I like few people. A few people, I guess you call it.
Hey friend, welcome to my channel, KarineAlourde Mental Gym. Now let's get into this video. Moving in silence has been all the rage all since 2022. Everyone has talked about moving in silence, keeping things to yourself, and privacy is power, etc. There's countless videos out here on YouTube speaking about that. I've done several videos on the importance of that. But many people do believe that they are moving in silence when in fact they're not. Have you ever felt so cringe to see someone, especially on social media, post a quote that says, "Move in silence, don't tell people your plans," and then shortly after they post their plans? Or you look at the quote and like, sis, I know everything about you and I've never even met you, just because of how frequently they post so much and share so much of themselves. Many of us, and I was guilty of this, thought that I was moving in silence because I wasn't telling people step by step everything that I was up to and what I was doing. You know, I just share tidbits and stuff like that. So I thought I was good. But looking through like memories, even on my stories on Instagram, and you know, you go back, you're going through the archives, you're looking at memories or paying attention to just how people treat you, you realize, hey, maybe I wasn't moving in silence like I thought I was, and I need to revisit what exactly it means to move in silence. So you probably clicked on this video because you probably feel very similar, and it's like, I don't know if I'm talking too much or revealing too much about myself. So I'm gonna tell you 5 ways to know if you're revealing a little bit too much about yourself, and you can comment below any other tips that you have on this subject or how you resonate with these 5 tips. The first one is, do people find you predictable? Do people easily get bored with you because of your predictability? This is a major key. And of course, there will be people like your spouse, your best friend, your sisters, your brothers, like siblings that knew you all your life or that you grew up with or that you live with, that will always know you more or better than others, that you will have some form of predictability with those who are close to you, okay? But do you find that it's obvious for people in general, like they say you wear your emotions on your sleeve, or people can easily predict your next move? Or do you find that people are not always in a rush to have conversations with you? They find you kind of dull or boring. You can tell, because you're like, I don't know if I'm boring to people or whatever. You can tell your opinion is not really sought after. You've ever seen someone come into a room that you're friends with and people just kind of like crowd around that person, and everybody wants their opinion, wants them to open their mouth and say something or value what they say and this and that. This is someone people find interesting, they're not bored of. But then there's other people that come in, no one really pays too much mind to them. People are not really too quick to ask them for their opinions. They're very predictable, and you find yourself just inserting yourself in these conversations, but no one's really, like if everybody kind of moved, if you're in a house party, everyone was on the couch, and then everyone kind of moves on over by the kitchen and no one kind of looks for you or goes and get you. Those are signs that, have people gotten bored of me? Have I become predictable? Have I said too much about myself that there's no more interest? Or do I share my opinions so much, constantly, all the time, that they no longer even want my opinions or find it valuable? And that's not always the case for everyone. Some people just probably, you give off a standoffish, and it's not necessarily that you reveal too much about yourself, but you give off a standoffish, whether it's an RBF, which is not intentional. Some people just have less friendlier faces, even though they're really friendly, if you're cursed by that. So it could just be that also, is people kind of gravitate away from you, and it's not necessarily that you're revealing too much, but that's where the work of doing self-assessment comes from. Number 2 is, you're usually doing most of the talking in your social groups, and you're very talkative. You know when you're talkative. I could relate to this one because I was the person in a social group. Oftentimes in the past, I would be the one controlling the conversations, talking all over people, talking a lot, just, you know, consuming the room. And you can always tell when you're like that because you know. So if you're in a circle, the best way to avoid revealing too much about yourself and mystery is to allow people to talk too, or you know, encourage the quiet person to talk a little bit more, or maybe be the person who asks questions that starts conversations, and then allow people to give their opinions also. Not only do you learn more about people, but people feel good around you, because people like to hear themselves talk, okay? I used to love to hear myself talk. You guys probably love to hear yourself talk too. There's probably many people that are guilty of this. So they love being around people that give them the opportunity to talk, especially if it's about topics that they care about, they're interested about. And what's the most interesting topic to most people is to talk about themselves. Learn to ask more questions and allow people to talk. You learn more about people, you learn body language better, and then you instantly have the ability because you're allowing people to express themselves or get things out. Learn to be a good listener versus being a good talker, because when you're a good listener, you reveal less about yourself, you're more intriguing, and people feel like they're bonding with you and connecting with you when you're not even saying anything about yourself. They just feel like they're bonding because they're telling you so much about themselves, okay? Number 3, if you have no secrets for yourself, you're probably revealing too much about yourself. Think right now, what secrets do I have for myself that only I know about myself or my life, what's going on? And if it's rare, or if there's one person in your life that knows everything about you, whether it's your best friend, your spouse, I say even your spouse and your best friend should know every single detail about you. There are things that should be just for you, you know, for you and God, okay? So if you find that most of your secrets are out there in Front Street, you have no kind of privacy for yourself or secrets for yourself, you probably reveal too much about yourself. You should always have your own stuff, your own things for yourself, okay? It's very hard for humans to hold in a secret. We love to gossip, we love to share things, even with ourselves. We love to share good news, bad news, sad news, whatever we love to share. Social media has given us that opportunity since the inception of MySpace. And then when we got Facebook, and then that what's on your mind thing, you know, everybody actually literally type what was on their mind. And then we got Twitter, which is even worse. And then now Instagram stories and all those things. And not even Instagram got status now and their things. So people just constantly share. Keep your secrets to yourself. Everybody don't need to know, and people just do not respect you, and you have revealed too much about yourself. Number 4 is your ideas are often copied or you can get them out there. Think about that. That is a sign that you're revealing too much about yourself. If you have an idea and then you just are here talking, you're announcing things before you even start to work on it, and then you see somebody else just jump on that. That happened to me a lot in the professional world. I would announce stuff on the community tab, videos I'm about to do, or this, that, and the third, and then someone would jump on it that we knew we mutually, you know, follow each other, whatever, and do it first. And I'm like, dang, I probably should have just did it and not announced it, you know, because then when I do it, it looks like I'm piggybacking off that person. And it's just, you are talking too much. And like I said, that comes with the need to want to share. Like you want to tell your friend, hey, I'm going to create this movie or do this, whatever. Now your friend hears your idea and then they jump on it before you, you know. Oftentimes you might talk too much even about your work, your spouse. Let me tell you guys something. There's people that have a good loving wife or a good loving husband, and they share too much with their friends of the good times and how he is in bed and all this stuff. And then you see that friend starts to get the little eye and then want to, you know what I mean? That has happened. That's the thing of life. Or a job. You talk so highly of your job that you'll have friends that will come and want to work at the job, and then you put them on, and the next thing you know, they're gunning for your position or those promotions and things like that, because you was just overly sharing with the job. Now, yes, it's good to help others get free too, but you might start something with the wrong people. I'm telling you, you start talking too much about what you do and stuff like that, then you see they start to copy you and want to get in the same field as you, do the same thing as you, follow your same formula, and then get ahead of you because you talk too much, you shared too much, you talk too much, and before you know it, your whole circle is little clones of you because you talk too much. Learn to keep yourself stuff to yourself, your business ventures. Like you can have that one good friend. I have one good friend that I will share my business ventures with, because I know not only will she support me, but she will help me get there, and she's not gonna like have envy or try to like get ahead of it and do it before me or jump on that bandwagon or whatever. So you have to have that one good friend or that spouse or whatever, but be careful with all the other little friends you have around you, or associates, or people that don't really like you, don't really care for you, but keeps you around just to kind of watch, and they see you thriving and they want to mimic everything you're doing, and then they know they can always count on you to give them the formula because you talk too much. Number 5 is people don't respect you or your absence. This is very crucial. This is the last one, and I saved it for last because it is the most important. Do you find that you get disrespected often? Listen, I used to be that person in the past. I'd get into lots of arguments, fights, and stuff like that, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be in a circle where people think they can talk to me any kind of way or things can slide. You kind of just remove yourself. Like, I'm not going to be disrespected, okay? So it's okay to remove yourself when you start to feel that way, but if you see people don't even respect your absence when you remove yourself, they are tired of you. They are bored of you. It's not your circle. They either never liked you, or it could be a sign that you're revealing too much about yourself. Like I said, all of these could be other things or other reasons. It might not necessarily be that you're revealing too much about yourself, but that's where you assess. But this is a big sign. They say familiar. I can never pronounce this word. Listen, English was not my first language. I know the word. It just, my tongue can't twist that way. So don't even laugh at me. But my favorite quote is familiarity builds contempt. Okay, the more familiar people are with you, the more contemptuous they are. And I remember my uncle was telling me this. I had a best friend. I used to sleep over her house all the time when I was a teenager, and we started fighting so much. We would have like violent fights sometimes, and it never used to be that way until she started sleeping over my house. I started sleeping over her house. I'm like, dang, why are we fighting so much? Like, this was so toxic. And my uncle told me that the minute y'all started sleeping over each other's house, it's gonna get like that because now y'all too familiar with each other. People are not gonna respect you when they see, if you have a friend, it's a Haitian thing, and it might be too extreme and not necessarily truthful, but once somebody sees how you wake up, they see you at your worst, they just so familiar with you, they see you every day, there's a little respect that's gone. Even spouses will see that the minute they get married and they move in together, things change. That little they saw you in that halo is kind of gone. They start getting more annoyed with things. And this is why you cannot let people get too familiar with you. The only person you can let get familiar with you is God, right? The respect is gone when people are too familiar with you, and they become more and more familiar with you. The more predictable you are, the more you share about yourself, the more open you are, the more vulnerable you are. I'm not saying to keep your guards up and do all that stuff, but you have to create that fine distance and boundary and be like, listen, let me halt you right there, because people will think that you're disposable. They can talk to you any kind of way because you're always available for them when they call, always available for them when they text, always like ready to be the savior or talk or help them out with stuff they're doing. Let people figure things out themselves. You have no idea how many times in my life I should have just sat there and let people figure things out themselves, but I wanted to hold their hands. Let me teach them this, let me give them this source, let me give you this app or this, that, so they can go ahead and do what I'm doing and then take over and then, discard you after. Then they're moving in silence. They're smart about it. They want you to tell them everything, but they move in silence. They sneak up and do everything in silence and all sneaky, and then you be like, dang, you're not even sharing. Be careful of those type of people that shares nothing. They do everything in silence, no matter what it is. It could be a sneaky friend that goes in and buy a house in silence and never tells you anything, a car in silence, never tells you anything, but you're always sharing. You need to learn, okay, let me not do that. It could even be with a beauty treatment. You go get a beauty treatment, it gotta be in silence, like you don't share, or you try this new diet that's working for you. We all trying to lose weight and you keep it to yourself and you this. Like those selfish friends, those are the ones that will take from you, take your intelligence, the stuff you've already done, like you've been through it. They will take from you, but they will not give you nothing of what they learned. They will let you figure things out yourself. So you got to let them figure things out themselves and stop sharing. Okay. This is what we're doing in 2023. I love you guys so much. If you like the music you're listening to, the link is in the description. Please share this with somebody who will need this. Okay. You got that friend that do a little bit too much, but I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Comment below what other topics you guys would like. Until next time.